G'day and welcome. I am Kivesh, sales consultant for Beta Software. Beta Software is the authorized partners and sole distributors of Arbutus in Southern Africa. In studio today, I have Terence, who is our senior data analyst, and is going to show you a brief overview of Arbutus. So for all your data analytical needs, here we go. I'm going to hand it over to Terence. You may go ahead, Terence.
Thank you, Kavesh, and welcome everyone. It is a great pleasure of mine just to be showing off some of the features of Arbutus Analyzer, and what we're going to be focusing on is duplicate testing and data harmonization. If I can just open up my Arbutus Analyzer for you, and we'll begin with the presentation. What you'll notice is that I already have a table open. Now I've already imported this data within Arbutus Analyzer. And what we'll be looking or focusing on is a vendor master table. And we're going to see what duplicate results we get on vendor address before and after data harmonization. Now, this doesn't necessarily just apply to addresses, but it could apply to names, nicknames, comments, whatever you can think of. What I'm going to do is run a duplicates command on vendor address. So I go to my Analyze menu option and I select duplicates. Here, duplicates dialog box will open up, and I'll be able to select fields to test for duplicates. As you can see, the S is in brackets there. So you can either choose one field or you can choose multiple fields. I'm going to select choose to select the specific field to run my duplicates test on. Here, if I run a duplicates command on multiple fields, you will get a same duplicate testing. However, you will be able to change what duplicates testing to be run on the last field, and I'll show you what I mean by that. In this instance, we are just going to run duplicates testing on one field, namely vendor address. If I select vendor address to add it to my selected windows list, I'm going to select OK, and you'll see Arbutus Analyzer gives you an option to change the duplicates testing on the last field, this being vendor address, since we only added one field in our duplicates. If there were more fields, this testing, for example, would be same. If we selected 3 fields to test for duplicates, we could then have same, different, or same, near or similar, which is your fuzzy duplicates testing. We're going to do a same duplicates testing, and I'm going to select all fields from my list fields, which will give us all our relevant fields, other relevant fields in the table, and our output result. I can choose my output options to run to screen, which will mean all my results will just run to the command log, which is a great audit trail because the command log records all your actions within Arbutus Analyzer, and I'll be able to interact with some of the commands and features in the command log. What I'm going to do is select my output options to data to run my results to a data table. Let's give our data table a name. Now we know we're working with the vendor master, so I'm going to call this test vendor master. We will call this duplicates. Let's run this command and see what results we get. As you can see, the output result, I've got 0 entries, 0 records. But is that accurate? Let's go back to our table and have a look. If we look at our vendor master, and if we look at our vendor address field, we can see that we've got numerics, we've got characters, we've got some other characters in there. Here I've got double quotes, I have a comma. I can also see, if I scroll through my data, it looks like there's abbreviations as well. Here I've got the word avenue, I've got abbreviation for boulevard, I've got the word road, and if I keep on scrolling down, you'll see in my data set, there are a few abbreviations to this. I've got the abbreviation for road RD, avenue, I've got AVE, and so on. As you can see, there are a few different abbreviations and even spelling differences for the same word. Now, this could impact our duplicate testing. So our first question is, how do we align our data? How do we harmonize our data so that it makes more sense for our duplicate testing? Well, the one feature or function I'm going to show you in Arbutus Analyzer is called our normalize function. What we will do here is go to our edit table layout, which will show us all our fields and give us information about what we're looking at. I'm going to create a computer field, and we're going to call this address normalize. Now this will be our first step in data harmonization. So what I'm going to do is select our normalize function. And as you can see, there are a few parameters I can enter here. I can enter the relevant field to normalize. I can even enter or input a substitution file name, which we will get to in a moment, or I could even manually enter characters that I want to align or to normalize. I'm just going to input the field name, which, as you can see from my available fields list, is vendor address. I'm going to validate my computer field to make sure it's correct. When you select OK, I'm going to save my computer field. Now let's add our computer field to our table. Let's quickly compare the two fields to see if there are any noticeable differences before we run our duplicates. One thing you'll notice is in the normalize function, what Arbutus Analyzer does is it makes all alpha characters uppercase. Another thing, Arbutus Analyzer will remove special characters or grammatical characters. Here you can see there's no comma or double quotes within our data. So this is a first step in standardizing or harmonizing our data. Let's run a duplicates test or command on our newly created computer field and see what results we get. Remember, previously we had 0 duplicates. If I go back to my vendor master table and I go back to my duplicates command, let's run our duplicates command. I'm going to select the computer field we just created. I'm going to select OK. We are going to leave the last field to test as same because we're doing the same duplicates, exact duplicate testing. I'm going to select all fields because I want all fields from my table in my result. And I'm going to output the result to a table, which we will call vendor master again. However, let's just add duplicates on normalized field address. Already, we have different results from the first time we ran the duplicate test. Here you'll see I've got 8 records or 8 entries that are duplicates. Let's have a look at it a little bit more detail. As you can see, there's 100 NE Adams Street, and there's another one that's exactly the same. If I had to move the vendor address field, now this, remember, is the initial field, the field that we didn't change. What's different between these two entries? As you can see, there looks like there's a space just after that period, and in exact duplicates, which is correct, these two wouldn't be the same. But as you can see, they are the same. So just by a quick function, we've normalized our data, we've harmonized our data, and now we've picked up duplicate entries, which is quite interesting. Because as you can see, for the same address, we've got a different vendor number and a different company name. Let's see if we could take this a step further. Let's say if you have a master data file or master data management tool, and you've standardized few words. In this case, let's say it's the vendor address. You've standardized few words in your master data management, or maybe it's your company policy. You could then link that file to Arbutus Analyzer to run and align your data, to harmonize your data. If I go to my project folder, I can show you that in this case, we have such a file. And as you can see, that for the word ALLEE, spelled A-L-L-E-E, we've standardized it or harmonized it to the abbreviation ALY. And we've done that for the next occurrence of ALLEE, which is A-L-L-E-Y to A-L-Y, and so on and so forth. You can see we've done that for avenue and the different variations of avenue and standardized it to AVE. And you can do that to whatever character field you wish. If we go back to Arbutus Analyzer, Now, how do we incorporate that file in our duplicates testing? Well, here we go. I'm going to go back to my vendor master table. I'm going to create another computed field, and let's call this C underscore address normalize, but it'll be a list. We'll add that list into our normalize function. I then go and select our normalize function. I'm going to select the field vendor address, and now I'm going to add in the file name. If I go back to the location for my file name, it currently sits where my project folder resides. So all I need is the file name. If your file did not sit or in the same location as the project folder, you can easily copy the directory. But I'm just going to copy the whole name, paste it into my normalize function. I'm going to validate the expression is valid. I'm going to save my computer field. Now let's add the computer field to our data and let's see the differences. So not only in our normalized list field will Arbutus Analyzer make all the alpha characters uppercase, but it'll also change those specific words, as we saw, into a standardized structure or format. If I look at road, in our first computer field, we still had the full word road, but in our listed field or our normalized function that referred to our list or master file, we have abbreviated that to RD. Now we've done that for various variations of the word road or abbreviations. Now let's run a duplicates test on this newly created computer field and see what different results we get. If I go back to Analyze Duplicates, and I'm going to choose the field to run my duplicates testing on, which is our field we just created, I'm going to select all fields. Again, it's going to be the same duplicates testing, and I'm going to run the result to a table. Let's call our table vendor master duplicates, and this is the normalize with the list. As you can see, the first time we ran duplicates, we had 0 results, 0 entries, 0 records. From just adding in a normalized function, we then had 8 hits or 8 records for duplicates. And by adding that standardized list or harmonized list, we now have 28 records where duplicates, in fact, occurred. Here you'll see we've got address 1N 2nd Street. Now let's look at the initial field. As you can see, it's 1 North 2nd Street, but there's a large difference in the word street and the abbreviation ST. Again, all the punctuation has been removed, and we get a more accurate result when running our duplicates command. I think that is fantastic. What I just want to show you again in our Analyze Duplicates command, we have the ability to run duplicates on same, which is exact duplicates, different, which will show you slight differences. And we can run a near or similar duplicates. Near duplicates, you'll see you have to add a numeric value. What this means is that near will run on numeric or date. And if we had to run a near on a date with a 1 numeric, it'll show all occurrences or duplicates where there's a difference of 1 date within 1 date. If I change this to 5, it'll be within 5 dates or 5 random amounts. Similar works with character fields, which is your text fields or character fields, which could comprise of alphanumerics as well. And what this shows is the differences, how many differences in characters does my field have compared to another field. And that's the power of duplicates testing with Arbutus Analyzer. By harmonizing your data, you can get accurate results with your duplicate testing. Thank you. That concludes my presentation on duplicate testing and data harmonization. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. We have an open door policy. We would love to assist. We do love doing online demos, and we would love to show you the capabilities of Arbutus Analyzer. Thank you everyone for joining. It's been a pleasure from my side.
Thank you everyone for joining. Have a lovely day.